Today, we're diving into a real adrenaline-pumping story that, just a few days ago on April 13th, 2025, brought the entire Middle East to the brink of a massive disaster. Ready? Buckle up, because we're jumping into the heart of one of the most dangerous military conflicts in recent times. This is like a Hollywood action movie, but it's real. Imagine this: 3:41 a.m. When everyone's deep in sleep, the night sky over Yemen suddenly lights up. The Houthis, from their strongholds in northwestern Yemen, fire not one, but two ballistic missiles. Their target? Israeli military bases, likely near Tel Aviv or the outskirts of Beersheba. These missiles streaked through the darkness like lightning, fast, loud, and deadly. But this wasn't just a simple attack. It was a message, a test for global powers, and maybe a spark to ignite a regional war. Hold on a second. Just hours before the launch, a top-secret intelligence meeting between the U.S. and Israel had taken place. They warned that Iran was ramping up its activities in the region through proxies like the Houthis. Missile stockpiles in Yemen's Sada and Hodeidah had been moved and prepped for launch. It was as if someone was deliberately setting up a powder keg for detonation. These weren't ordinary missiles. Don't think they were some homemade rockets cobbled together in a garage. No, these were Iran-made Birkin 2H ballistic missiles. Real monsters with a 1,000-kilometer range, solid fuel, and the ability to carry half a ton of explosives. They're designed to spread chaos far beyond Yemen's borders. So, what happened? One missile was shot down mid-air by Israel's advanced air defense systems like Arrow and Iron Dome. The second? Oh, that one disintegrated mid-flight, its pieces raining down like a metallic storm over Hebron in the West Bank. Luckily, no casualties this time, but that was just pure luck. But here's the thing: the timing of this attack was no coincidence. The Houthis wanted to show the world they're now a serious player in the Middle East. This launch was a loud, clear message. We can strike the heart of Israel, and no one can stop us. For years, the Houthis have claimed they're fighting a defensive war against Saudi and Israeli influence. But let's be real, they're no longer just a local militia. With direct support from Iran, they've become a destabilizing force in the region. From attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea, to launching missiles at Saudi oil facilities, and even testing drones against U.S. destroyers, the Houthis have shown their reach is long. But this time, targeting Israel was a whole new level. Back in 2021, they hit Riyadh. In late 2023, they targeted the UAE. But now, firing at Israel? That means they're going head-to-head with the region's and world's heavyweights. When a ballistic missile soars through the sky, no one thinks it's just a one-off shot. Everyone knows it could be the start of something much bigger. As air raid sirens blared in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, deafening everyone, and Israeli F-16 and F-35 jets scrambled to intercept the missiles, another massive force was ready to respond 400 miles away in the Red Sea: the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group. This carrier, along with advanced destroyers like USS Gravely and USS Laboon, equipped with Aegis radar systems and anti-air missiles, was like a floating fortress on full alert. When the Houthi missiles appeared on radar, the strike group roared into action like a war machine. Radars locked on, SM-6 and SM-2 missiles were primed for launch, and FA-18 Super Hornet jets were ready to take off. E-2D Hawkeye aircraft, with their massive radars, watched everything from the skies like sharp-eyed sentinels. Even below deck, damage control teams and crew were prepared to respond instantly if anything came their way. No one was sleeping. No one was even blinking. Though the U.S. didn't directly engage this time, as the missiles didn't enter their airspace, the message was clear. Take one more step, and you're dealing with the U.S. Navy. The region, at that moment, was like a taut rope, needing just one nudge to snap. Now, let's zoom in on the tech that keeps the U.S. a cut above the rest. The Aegis system, the digital brain of Navy destroyers, is like a command center for everything in the sky. With its AN/SPY-1D radar, it can scan hundreds of miles and track over 100 targets simultaneously. When the Houthis fired their missiles, destroyers like USS gravely knew their trajectories before they even reached peak altitude. If a missile had come toward the carrier, America's layered defenses would have acted like an impenetrable wall. SM-6 and SM-2 missiles for destroying threats up to 150 miles away. CRAM system, an automated short-range missile defense that fires in seconds. CIWS weapon, a 20mm Gatling gun firing 4,500 rounds per minute, creating a tungsten wall against any threat. And, of course, E-2D Hawkeye planes, MQ-9 Reaper drones, and Global Hawk UAVs act like a surveillance network in the sky, watching everything. Together, they form a connected war network called network-centric warfare. This means the U.S. doesn't just react to threats, it predicts them before they're even launched. Think the U.S. just sat back and watched? No way! Within 48 hours, the U.S. launched a coordinated, multi-pronged attack on Houthi military infrastructure. 2 B-1B Lancer bombers took off from Diego Garcia and turned a Houthi radar system, critical to the missile launches, into a pile of ash with precision-guided munitions. But that was just the start. In the next 48 hours, Tomahawk cruise missiles, launched from destroyers in the Red Sea, obliterated missile stockpiles, command centers, and air defense systems near Hodeidah. These missiles, flying like invisible ghosts below radar, hit their targets with terrifying precision. Local footage showed secondary explosions, likely from ammo or fuel depots, lighting up the sky. Meanwhile, U.S. Navy electronic warfare teams jammed Houthi radars, leaving them unable to mount a proper response. The result? Within 72 hours of the U.S. strike, Houthi media went silent. No propaganda videos, no victory claims, just absolute silence. For a group that loves showing off on social media, that was a massive defeat. This operation wasn't just about destroying a few depots. The U.S. sent a loud, clear message to the Houthis and their backers in Tehran. If you want to escalate, we'll respond swiftly, strategically, and without hesitation. This message wasn't just delivered with missiles, it was reinforced by the constant presence of carriers, air patrols, fighters, and always-on destroyer radars in the Bab al-Mandeb Strait and Red Sea. It was a show of strength, not an all-out war. The U.S. could have leveled Houthi territories, but chose a surgical, precise strike to say, "We see you, we're ready, and next time we won't be so polite." Hold up! Think this is just about missiles and explosions? Nope. America's real power lies in its massive intelligence network. Even before the Houthi missiles were fired, the U.S. had Yemen under a global surveillance web of satellites, spies, and allies. SBR's satellites detected the missiles' heat signatures from space, relaying data instantly to the Pentagon and regional ships. On the ground, NSA units and Navy intelligence monitored encrypted Houthi communications. Even in Yemen, a network of local informants, Houthi defectors, and allied intelligence from Saudi Arabia and Israel fed info to the U.S. And don't forget, the U.S. doesn't work alone. Israel's Unit 8200, the UK's GCHQ, and NATO allies were all in the game. When the missiles launched, within minutes, Analysts in Florida, drone pilots in Djibouti, and missile technicians on USS Gravely were all looking at the same screen. Launch sites, missile paths, and response options. This speed and coordination make the U.S. unstoppable in modern warfare. The Houthis took a heavy hit this time, but is it enough? Or should we have hit harder? The Middle East never calms down. It just smolders under the ashes. The U.S. has increased patrols in the Red Sea, drones are in the sky, and destroyers are ready to fire. The Houthis are unpredictable, and with Iran's backing, who knows what they'll do next? What if the next missile isn't intercepted? What if it hits a civilian target or traps U.S. personnel in an explosion? This is where the U.S. walks a tightrope every day. Too soft, and attacks increase. Too hard, and the whole region goes up in flames. Iran, playing through proxies like the Houthis for years, is testing boundaries without getting its hands dirty. Now that the Houthis have proven they can strike Israeli soil, what's the next bet? A bigger attack? Or a misstep that drags everyone into war? What do you think the U.S. should do? Should it hit twice as hard and ground the Houthis for good? Or play it cautious to keep things from spiraling out of control? If you were the commander, what would your strategy be? Share in the comments. And one more question. How much do you think Iran was behind this attack? Was it just a Houthi move, or is Tehran directing a bigger game? Let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, drop a big like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an exciting story. What's your take on this? Who do you think will fire next? Share in the comments. Thanks for joining us, and stay ready. Because in this region, nothing is predictable.